Next one. Hello, here's Muho and
Itei.
from Osaka. Last time I asked you where you came from, Kyrgyzstan, and how you got to Antaiji, and we were talking about Toshoji, and you said, unlike Antaiji, you can't come there if you're 50 or 60, you don't have to speak Japanese, but most people that come are already ordained. Is it also possible for lay people to go there?
Well, it's a bit unclear for me. I think in the most of the cases they want some kind of guarantor.
I see.
But if you just contact via usual mail or via email maybe, then there is a chances that you will be accepted as sanzensha.
But probably it's not so easy to find the email because they don't have a website.
Yeah, that's the point. There is a phone number which is on the internet, and if you call,
yes,
then, well, if people are not busy, someone will answer and hopefully will let you know what the email is. Obviously, it's a Japanese phone number, but it's easy to find in internet.
But you should be aware that there's a time difference between Japan and whatever country you live in. That happened to me in Antalya a lot, that people were calling it at 2 in the morning. And, oh, I didn't know it's 2 in the morning. It's 4 in the afternoon here where I am.
Yeah, on some occasion people wouldn't answer the phone, but in this case you can just try to call later.
Yes. Yeah. I think... well, we are here in Osaka right now, but I think you're going back to Toshoji tomorrow. And, and if I heard right, you're gonna be the Shuso, the head monk, starting in spring?
Yeah, for summer Ango.
Yes.
I'm going to, well, be Shuso, which is more of a formal thing, but it still implies some amount of samu distribution and similar things. And probably somewhere in May or in June I will do Hosenshiki there,
yes,
which will be another step in Soto Zen monks path.
Yeah, Hosenshiki is so-called Dharma combat, where you have to exchange, how do you say, almost like a fight.
Yeah, you have to kind of answer people.
Yes.
People are challenging your knowledge and your ability to answer, and you have to answer somehow.
How many people will challenge you? 15 or?
I think it's usually advised to have like 10 people.
10.
But some people are doing 7, some people are doing a bit more, so it's around 10.
So in your case, probably also 10.
Yeah.
Do you already know the questions?
No, I'm not sure about the questions, but the point is that in my case it will be probably like old Japanese Hosenshiki,
yes,
like in Kobun, which is
old
emotionally interesting, but probably not that understandable for the most of the people, including Japanese audience. Also, recently they had 2 shusos from Brazil and from Italy, and they did Hosenshiki in Portuguese and in Italian respectively. Although I think it's not common practice.
Yes.
The English Hosenshiki and the Japanese Hosenshiki is what usually happens.
Yes. So for Portuguese and Italian, the other monks had to, how do you say, memorize the text in Portuguese
there
and
was
Italian.
a number of people from Latin language group countries.
Yes.
And a number of people had to just memorize the things without understanding the language.
I see.
Which is probably quite kind of similar to what happens to doing Hosenshiki in Kobun in the first place.
I see. So Kobun is classical Chinese, Japanese. What are the other responsibilities that you will have as the Shuso? So in some monasteries you get up 30 minutes earlier than everybody else to clean the toilets. Is that also part of the...
Yeah, I think it's slightly different in Toshoji. So you do Shinde responsibility during the whole term. So you're waking up like maybe 20 minutes before and walk with a bell.
Yes.
Around the monastery to wake everyone.
Yes.
And during the usual soji time, it's expected that Shuso is cleaning toilets unless he is busy with something else.
I see, I see. But you don't have to sacrifice your free time, or do you have less free time than everybody else?
Like, well, it happens that you have less free time.
Yes.
Because, well, a lot of preparations and a lot of things to do.
Yes.
But it's not decided when exactly you sacrifice your free time.
I see, I see. How is the relation with the roshi in Toshoji? Like, for example, in Antaiji, when I was the abbot there, sometimes people said, well, you're not really the abbot. You're only kind of like the head monk. You work with the people. Well, when you came, I kind of withdraw myself. But during the first 10 years, I was more like, well, a shuso. I was kind of organizing all the work. And some people were disappointed because they were expecting this roshi who would just sit there and give talks. And maybe in Toshoji, the roshi is more like, well, traditional. Also, he's a little bit older.
Yeah, it's...
well, he gives talks, but can you also kind of have Doksan with him, ask him questions, or...?
Yeah, I think he kind of likes Doksans.
Oh,
so when the short-term visitors, like Sanzenshi, in the most cases are Doksans.
Yes.
Well, I'm not aware of the content of Doksans, obviously.
Yeah.
And in terms of being Shuso or the like Roshi, he is definitely the Roshi type.
Yes.
In the most of the cases, if it's not something urgent, the monks by themselves would decide what Sano to do. And yeah, although it sometimes it might have a negative influence on the quality of Samo distribution as well.
I see, I see. Well, you said the Roshi gives Doksan, but you have never had Doksan?
No, well, I've had some Doksans, and yeah.
Is it more like a private talk, or do you discuss koans or satori?
It's not koan Doksan, also probably if you ask about koan, you can receive some kind of answer.
Yes.
And depending on whether you want to discuss something specifically, you can have private talk style Dokusan, or if you just came there out of being interested in what Dokusan is, then probably you will just receive some kind of, how would you call it, performance.
I see, performance.
Yeah.
I see. So you will be there, the shuso, for the next ango, the next 90 or 100 days practice period.
Days, yeah.
And what are your plans after that?
Well, it is expected in Toshoji that unless there are some kind of urgent issues happening, you stay for another half year as well, kind of gratitude debt, as a repay for being Shuso and doing Hosenshiki at the temple, and afterwards I will have to see what my plans are.
Are you gonna become a Zen master?
Well, I would rather avoid.
Avoid?
Yeah.
But you don't want to go back to university, become a physicist as well?
I guess it might be hard, and I'm not sure if it was it in the first place. So yeah, I will see what to do, but generally speaking, I would try to avoid just, how would you call it, finding a temple with some dankas and yeah, doing funerals for food.
That's what you want to avoid?
Avoid, yeah.
Okay, but you're thinking about staying in Japan?
Yeah, probably.
I see, I see. But you don't want to become a Zen master, you don't want to take care
I mean, it depends on
temple?
the style of Zen master. Like,
I see.
Well, a bit more modern type of temple or Zen community might be an interesting option.
Yes.
But in terms of just performing funerals,
yes,
it's yeah, at least at this stage, it doesn't feel like a right choice in terms of what I think about the world. Let's say. I mean, I think that it is an rather important thing because people want to have it.
yes.
But on the other thing, in my personal case, I don't believe in afterlife or being reborn or anything, and it's a bit strange to perform anything to a person who who is normal anymore.
I see, I see. That's a topic that I talked about the last couple of weeks a lot. What makes a Zen master a Zen master? what would you say qualifies somebody as a Zen master? What is a Zen master in the first place?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I mean, probably he is able to answer to people, in a way, to the, well, not to the requests apparently, but to what they're being worried about. And that should be, well, the main thing, probably. And yeah, I don't think that there is any kind of profound understanding behind answering necessarily, like the things which are being well proposed shouldn't be necessarily the true in a like strictly scientific sense, but they shouldn't give a solution to the problem, but they should help person to find it.
So you would say
that's how the answer I can generate here.
Like in Buddhism, we have this expression "skillful means," in Japanese "hoben."
Yeah.
Is what you say? Well, it doesn't matter if there's any substance to it, as long as it helps the other person. That's enough.
Well, I mean,
skillful means are enough.
I still feel uncomfortable about lying when you know that you lie in the first place.
Yes.
But well, hopefully, if there is something to discover except for skillful means,
yes,
it would be nice to have it. But otherwise, skillful means should be good enough.
All you got until now, so far, is skillful means, so to speak. You're still hoping for something more.
No, I'm not hoping.
Well, unfortunately, we're close to the 12-minute limit. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving me this interview. And